Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Tuesday morning? Hope everyone is doing well. I had another super boring night at work. I don't know. I guess right now people have already traveled as far as they're going to travel, I guess. They're already at the in-laws' house or whatever. I hope you gentlemen are doing great this morning. Good morning, Mr. Michael, Mr. B. Shady, Mr. Nick Martino, Mr. Christopher Hinckley, and Mr. Ed Durbin, and Mr. Pete. Good morning, gentlemen. Hope y'all are doing well. So, what knives did I carry last night? Well, that is the wrong screen for sure. This is the right one. Good morning, Dalton. So in my front pocket, I had my Evo. Yeah, if y'all go ahead and get the like button out of the way, you won't have to worry about it anymore. So I had that in my front pocket, and in my back pocket, I had my FSDI, my mini FSDI, that literally has some of the most perfect action of any knife I own. This one is in M390, got that hydraulic drop, but I had that in the back pocket. And then in my back left pocket, I had this little beauty. So as you can see, we do have a titanium Wharncliffe baby banter that Flatanium said would not work with these titanium scales. And you do have to do a little bit of modification if you want to use them. But you can definitely get it to work. And the easiest way to get it to work is to use a donor knife. But if you don't have a donor knife and you just have one version, it doesn't matter which version of the baby banter you have, they will all work with these scales. Some require a little more modifications than others. But I was able to take the brand new purple one that I had, take the blade out of it, and then take the liners out of my other one. No, I take that back. Yes, I took the liners out of my other one, my regular one, and used those liners in here, and the blade works perfectly. And then I was able to take the purple one and reassemble it with the parts from the purple one, and the blade from so this blade was red. I'm confused. I'm confusing y'all. I had a red and white one. I had to use the liners on one side. I had to use these two out of this one, and I used the factory one out of the purple one, and then I put both of these liners back into this one. So this had a red blade last night and red hardware. It had red screws, a red blade, a red pivot, and red back spacers or standoffs. I took off the thumb stud to answer your question, Pete. I took off both thumb studs where I took off this thumb stud when I bead blasted the blade. I've got some pictures to show y'all so you kind of understand what I'm saying. But basically all I have left over is this white set of scales, and I've got 2 working knives. And all I had before this was these 2 knives. But this knife became this knife, and this knife became this knife. So this is all I have left over, and I've got one I can sell now to recoup my money to help cover the cost of that one. No, they're not hard to remove. All you got to do is use that little pair. I've told you got to get you a little pair of vice grips. The tiniest pair work great. All you do is grab one side and start turning, and it will come right off. So let me show you some pictures here. I'm also going to show y'all some techniques in case you need to bead blast something and ever have the ability to. I'll show you how I take care of not bead blasting threads and such. But here is the titanium one once it was assembled. And as you can see, I've got the silver liner on this side from the purple scales and the black 2-piece liners on this side from the white scales. Then originally I reinstalled this one together with the red blade and the red hardware, and it was the ugliest knife I'd ever seen. So that's what it turned out to be. And you can see I used the black liner from the white blade, and the other side is the one from the purple scales. So I did that. So there's the 2 that I had assembled, and that's the 2 I still have assembled, but I hated that color. And there's 2 of the 4 down. The other, I got 2 more to go. We'll talk about Pete's here in just a second. But this is after I bead blasted it, and if you look really close, you can see inside that screw right there that is still red, and so is a little bit inside that one. I got the pivot screw good, and I got the blade good. And then down here, you can see a little bit on the inside. So I got to re-blast them a little bit, but I was in a hurry before work to see what it looked like. So I basically turned it from the top one into the bottom one. And like I said, you can see the red in those screw holes right there. But I will fix that. And then Pete did a 3D printing mod where you can 3D print the inlays for the Vostede crock. And I was going to tell you, Pete, if it's a little small, all you got to do is resize the print to like 101%. And that might fill in the holes. And you can also import this file into Tinkercad and put the little notch in it that it needs. So you can take and put that in there with Tinkercad, or make it a little bigger, or fix the file however you need to. But yeah, so when you do bead blasting, I can't believe how easily the red came off. Yeah, I can't believe how easy the red came off, but I want to show y'all a little trick that you can do if you need to protect threads. So what I did is what I've done before. Yeah, by the way, here's the 2 I finished so far out of the Flytanium scales that I bought. Were these 2. I've got the Elementum and the Wee Banter left. But let me show you something here. So this is the knife that I need to do some more bead blasting on. So it's got to be disassembled. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you something really quick. All right, go ahead and get these two screws out. So when you bead blast stuff, you can actually take off enough material to mess up threads. So I have come up with a solution for that for a lot of things. And I will show you that here in just a second. So all these are T8s. And then the two in the clip are T6s. So you got this going on. All right. It should be good. Let me get those two screws out because I got to bead blast these. But here's what you can do. So you can see here where I held my thumb over the blade. All right. As I was bead blasting, I held the glove with my finger like right there, and then I bead blasted right up next to it so that I wouldn't hit the pivot area. And so there is still a little red from the original blade left. I did pretty good on that side. I think I got the blade good enough, but I was thinking about actually taking an old set of bearings and laying in here and holding them in place while I bead blast the rest of that off and just make it perfect. So I've got some of these bearings that are the same size, so I can just lay them in the hole and bead blast right over them and ruin those bearings because they're so cheap, but get rid of all the red. So here's the little trick I want to show you if you want to protect threads. So what you can do is you can take your standoffs, which I also needed to bead blast, but I don't want to mess up the inside of those threads either. And you can take your little screws here and you can screw them into the standoffs. So this is what I did last night. I took and I put the screws in just like this. And then I took one of the other ones that goes in the other side of it. I need to wash my hands. I did some sharpening before the stream. So I screwed this one in. And what that does is that protects the threads both on the little screws and the standoff. And then you can just bead blast it to death and you're not hitting the threads. So you could do this if you didn't have a sandblasting cabinet, if you were doing something else. But so I'm going to do the same thing with the other set. And then I had to worry about the pivot and the pivot screw. So let me show you what I did to solve that problem. So I knew that I didn't care about the inside of these liners. Let me get this one put in this standoff. All right, so now both these screws are in this standoff, and I can take that and bead blast that as well. But I've still got this little clip screw, and I've still got the pivot screw that I had to get the red off of. So here's what I did in that case. I took this liner, and this liner has the threaded holes for the clip screw and the pivot. So what I did is I stuck the pivot up through there, and then I screwed that in to get those threads covered. And then once I did that, I could push it down even with the scales, and now I can hold that and bead blast that pivot screw. Good morning, TC. Morning, Waylon. And then I took the other little screw, and since it threads into this liner anyway to hold the clip in, I took it and I threaded it in on the same side that I was going to be blasting, in the little hole that it goes in. So this is the hole that it threads into. And I did the same thing with it, so then I could blast it and not worry about touching the threads. And it's hard to get this one started in this little hole, but wait, there we go. I think I got it just about. Yep. Oh, come on. All right. So now, since I can screw that little screw into this liner, now I can bead blast it and not worry about touching the threads. And I can do the same with the pivot screw. But that protects, so use your standoffs to screw your other screws into to protect the threads. And do the same with your liners if you have them. And like I said, I'm going to take some old bearings and put in these pockets, and I can just hold it over here and bead blast that red, and it won't get to the little inside there. So anyway, I was able to make the titanium warney and make the purple one with the bead blasted blade that used to be red. And that worked out good. I don't mind the black clip and the black thumb studs on this knife, because, you know, you need a little bit of some kind of color. But yeah, I was really surprised at how quick that red came off. I mean, to go from the top one to the bottom one is a whole different knife. And I'll be able to sell that bottom one pretty easily to recoup my money for my titanium warney. All right. So I did get back. The reason I carried my Evo last night is because I haven't had it in a couple of weeks, and I've been missing it. So I did get back a bunch of knives that I had loaned out, and that includes my Kevin John, the Maverick, which has some of the absolute best detent and best overall action of any knife I've got. I sent certain knives for Pete to check out so he would know what I thought was a good knife and what perfect action is. And this one has brutal detent, and it's got some of the best milling and fit and finish of any knife I've got too. So that was one I got back. Another one that I got back and was super happy about was my Anthem. And this knife is just so solid. So nice, so solid, nice and slim. Just a wonderful knife. It makes a nice clunk when you open it. Super fidgety. Perfect lockup. Everything about this knife is great. I put the better clip on it instead of that crazy clip. So I got that one back. And I got my Sicaray Light back, which has great action out of the box. Perfect little controlled hydraulic drop. Nice snappy action. Great detent. Another great one. And then last but not least, one that I showed earlier that I carried last night. I got to bead blast that stuff. Was my mini FSDI, the liner lock version in M390. And this one has absolute perfect action as well. And the milling and everything is just great. This is the same. So this is from a different maker, but these are the two. This is the mini FSD with the brown lock. and then this is the one with the inset liners. And I noticed there's a couple of little differences in the way these are made, but they're pretty close. This fuller on this one is awesome to reverse flick on. And I don't mind if this one doesn't have the adjustments on for the brown lock, because since it's a liner lock, it's gonna get locked up right. And this one brings me to another point that Nick commented on a video about, and that is people that do lock tests to see if their lock fails by hitting it on the back. And that is super important on this knife, because this knife has tunable lockup. So when I was adjusting it, I got it too far and it wouldn't stay locked up. So when I tested it by hitting it, it broke loose and failed. So I posted a little video as an experiment, and I wanted to show y'all how keywords can totally change a video. And it was just a test. It wasn't really, I don't even care about the little 3-second video for a lock test. But I want to show y'all something. So normally my videos get about 700, my shorts get about 700 to 1,000 views each per day. And just because I added the word fail into the title of my video, my shorts that normally, so this one right here got, how many views has it gotten? I don't know. It doesn't even show views on this page, but I'll show you the numbers. So right here, you can see my videos get 700, 600, 800, 700, 800, 600, 700, 800, 500. They get between 500 and 800, sometimes 1,000 on my little shorts. Well, I made a super short one that was only 3 seconds long, and it's gotten 16,000 views in like one day. So my normal ones gets 800 or so. This one's gotten 16,000 just because I used the word fail in the video. So I tested it again this morning, and I made another video where I said, don't fail to check out this knife, because I wanted to see if it would get the crazy numbers. And it's already past the Civivi baby banner, and I didn't post it until later on in the middle of the night. But it's just a little stupid video that says don't fail to check out this knife. And I used that word because I wanted to see, I wanted to test the algorithm. In what cutting task will the lock fail? Well, hopefully when you're using a knife, you're going to be pushing against it anyway. But I can show you a very simple example. And we watched this not long ago. But if we run over to Neve's channel, and we go to Neve's Knives, need to subscribe, and go to his shorts. He has, no, actually go to his, let's see. It's the, what's the name of that one with the double locks? Somebody help me out here. That one with the double locks. Let me see, hold on. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. Dang it. It's up here in my man, I cannot remember. I'm having the tempo. Is that it? No, that's not it. The cornerstone. Thank you, Ed. So yes, the cornerstone. All right, so right here, let me show y'all this video. He's doing some cut tests with it. Now watch what happens. Whoops, hold on. Y'all can't hear it. Hold on.
Sharpest edge in the world. Cut well. It cuts really well. It is ergonomic. I can get a 4-finger grip back here and choke up. My favorite is the pinch grip with this knife. You know, when I'm opening things up, opening boxes, stuff like that. Like I said, it does pass through materials well. It came with an okay edge. Not the sharpest edge in the world, but it's okay. It's a good factory edge. I'll say that. Good, decent factory edge. Now, the lock when cutting, you know what? I'll wait for that. The clip is, you know, it's functional. It does work. It's a little bit
let's go back here to where he's cutting.
How long it is.
Right here.
And probably the most significant one, which I don't want to harp on it as being a problem, but I did have it disengage on me. Ooh, that's deep. That's some thick stuff. Ooh, it just disengaged on me. Ooh, it disengaged on me. Whoop,
so it's disengaging on him right there.
Oh, fuck it.
And if his hand went around further.
Now that I know that, though, I need to be careful.
But
I mean, I was really cramming it through some stuff, though.
So it did just fail.
In a choke up. So when I choke up, and I'm going to show you exactly why this happens. Now, I have large hands. It might be this shape with my hand, but when I wrap around and I choke up just like this, my middle finger happens to land right there, and then my bone, like right there, happens to land on that. And if I pinch it, it will absolutely disengage. So it's something that happened to me really quickly, like briefly, like I caught it because my finger, you know, kind of catches it. So it didn't hurt me or anything.
But had he not caught it, and let me try to, so like, if you were choked up on a knife and you were cutting and this part of the handle went around this way, then your finger could get pinched between the scales and the blade and get cut pretty bad. Yes, but that was the lock failing regardless of how it happened. And spine wax, if you're hitting metal against wood or plastic, you're not damaging nothing. The metal is the harder object. I would never spine whack a knife against something metal. But if you do it against wood or plastic or whatever, I mean, every knife reviewer, not every knife reviewer, but tons of knife reviewers test the spine because lots of knives fail. I've had lots of Amazon knives that I bought that fail. But you ask, when would a lock fail? When you're cutting something heavy and it can shift your hand and it could go around and you could cut yourself. But you're not going to damage a knife by hitting metal against wood. I mean, When you use a folding knife, the lock is the most important part of the whole knife. So I would think that would be something you would want to be very sure that it's going to work. Because it's not a fixed blade. That's the whole thing. That's why Cold Steel does the weight test to see when it'll fail, and all the other ones. It's just an easy way to test the lock. I mean, I don't ever like beat the hell out of a knife trying to test it, but I've got plenty that I've done that and they fail, and it's a lot safer to do it and test it that way than to be out in the field and something happen. So I would rather find out before I get out there using the knife. But especially on knives where you can tune the lock up, because there's a fine point between this one to where it will lock up enough, and then I had it and it was failing. It wouldn't lock up because you want it to be super tight. Yeah, that's why this hobby's great, because everybody can feel differently about different stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, most of the time when you're pushing on a blade, for sure, you're causing, I mean, unless you bend the stop pins or something, you're not gonna have an issue. But it's just like when you buy something, you want to test all the features of it. And lockup is a feature of a folding knife. I mean, you pretty much want to test all the opening methods, all the closing methods, the lockup. You know, it's just one of those tests that everybody's always done and I would be upset if I bought a knife and I went to lock it out and then I tapped it and it broke loose. Like my second most viewed video is an actual one that I had that did fail. And let's see. So right here, my clone, Delta clone, as soon as I got it, it failed. So that's what you don't want to happen without knowing it. And I didn't hurt that knife at all, just touching that steel to the back of that cutting board. The same way right here. I think this
So these big outside trash cans make a great place.
Wait, so this right here, I think this one failed too. Nope. That one didn't fail.
So these big,
but this one did fail. And that's dangerous. And that's a simple test. I didn't yeah, I mean, it has to do with people liking failing stuff, but I think it's a very valid test. And I like to know, I've had lots of knives fail that test. It's not like every single knife always passes that test. And then that instantly lets me know I need to tune the knife better and fix it. And if I was to yank out that same knife that was on that video, I guarantee you it locks up now. Why is one lock more important to test than another, Nick? Or why is one valid to test? I've got lots of different locks on this table. Like, this one is not even a, this is not a axis lock. This is a coil spring lock. I mean, it is what it is, Nick. I don't like people beating up knives for sure. But I think there's ways to do it and test without beating up your knife. I mean, like I said, the material you're hitting it against matters. And if you use wood, you shouldn't hurt your knife at all. Yeah, I understand that, Michael. I know it wasn't the fault of the lock, but it was the fault of the lock because grabbing the knife caused the lock to fail because of where the lock was located. And since it was new to him, he didn't know he needed to adjust his hand. But the only reason I showed that is because Christopher asked up here, he said, what case, when does a lock fail? Like, and I was just showing him that in what cutting task will the lock fail? That's what I want to know. And I was just showing heavy use is when they'll fail. I was just using that as an example. The lock works, but the buttons were in the wrong place. It was a bad design. So yes, it is a functioning lock with a bad design. All right, moving on from locks. Let's see. I had. So that knife we've been talking about, or we talked about a while back, that had the shady ordering system. And it was that BMK Designs Ether. So we looked at it, and his ordering system was kind of shady. But yesterday you were able to buy some more, and if you message the guy on Facebook, he'll send you an invoice. So if anybody wants one of these, they're still available. I grabbed the plain one yesterday. He shipped it out this morning. Best Tech OEM, Magna Cut. I think they both look great. I love both of them. But all you got to do, you can message him on, I guess, wherever. Yeah, he's the one that had that website that was up for a little while and then went down. You had to send payment through email or something. So it was kind of shady. Now he's got it. It feels a little better on the ordering side of things. What else? Oh, we can look at some pocket checks real quick. Mr. Ed, Mr. Michael show their pocket checks. So Ed carried those two, I guess, last night. Not sure if he worked or was off, but he had those two on him. Those are the three I had that I showed. And then Michael carrying some bangers today. And Robin carrying a little chode today. Yeah, they're 330 TC. Which seems like a fair price. For Magna Cut and Best Tech, good milling and nice belt satin. Blades look sexy. But yeah, they're 330. I think William sent me I don't know. Is William here today with us? I didn't see him come in. If I didn't tell you good morning, sorry. Co-Bunny, good morning, by the way. Oh yeah, William, good morning, sir. Let me go off of Firefox for a minute while I look at your message.
Alright, I don't know how we can fix this, but this TK.
Oh, okay. You got a question about fixing something, maybe? Let's see what we got here. Let me turn the browser back on. See what the problem is.
Alright, I don't know how we can fix this, but this decal, yeah, it doesn't like to open. How can we increase that, fix that, make it better? Alright, I don't know how we can fix this, but this
that's part of the problem with button lock knives is the detent or lack thereof. Buttons are better than crossbars for sure, but that's all a detent issue, in my opinion. So the problem is it's disengaging before you build up enough pressure because of the detent. But you could fix it.
It doesn't like to open.
And I don't know what kind of lock. Is that a plunge lock or a
Alright, I don't know how we
liner
can
lock?
fix this, but this decal, yeah, it doesn't
I'm guessing it's a plunge lock, but could be wrong.
We increase that, fix that, make it better. Alright, I don't know how we can fix this, but this decal, yeah, it doesn't like to open.
And also so this one has super, like, I can't fail this knife. It's impossible. Because of the detent. Like, as soon as it breaks loose, it wants to open all the way. Let me get a button lock out. What knife is that? Does anybody know what TKL that is? Let's go find that knife and see what kind of lock it is. Waylon said it's the old empty. Okay. Is this it? The CW or combat grade? I think that is it. Yeah, that's it. So it is a liner lock, it looks like. I think I just saw him hit the liner. Yeah, right there. What's he doing with his thumb? He's got to be hitting the liner, so it's got to be a button actuated liner lock. That's good because that means it has a real detent ball. Yeah, even on the ad, I noticed that too. It didn't look very, very good. Yeah, I would say one of the things I try to do when I test knives is to keep them horizontal instead of adding extra. So if you point it down when you're opening it, then you're helping it from gravity pull the blade out. And if you hold it up, you're fighting against gravity. So if I want to get a good feel for a knife, I try to hold it horizontal to test detent, because then you know that you're not adding or subtracting by using gravity. But I also noticed when you were opening it, you had it where this end was higher than this end. So in order to open the blade, it's having to fight gravity. Whereas if you hold it horizontally, then it's just the detent that you're testing and the smoothness of the bearings. And if you hold it down, then it's going to open easier than if you hold it up. So I would say with that knife, when you pull it out, just tilt the front down to help yourself with gravity. But since it looked like it was a liner, you can take that liner out and bend it and add some pressure inward, and hopefully that detent ball will help give it more detent so that it takes more pressure to break it loose. But when I test knives and I open them, I try to hold them horizontally so that you're knowing it's just the bearings and the detent that you're working with. Yeah, so down will always, so just as you pull it out, just face it down and it should open easier that way. But like I said, you can bend that bar. Speaking of bending the bar, this is the channel knife, and this gets passed around to channel members for them to do a mod to. The first member that had it was Mr. Ed, and he put a clip on it because it didn't have a clip. And the second person that had it was Pete. And he started to drill holes in the fuller to make it look like a Microtech. But it gets sent to the members as just kind of a fun project. And you're supposed to add a mod to it. So we're going to spin for the members sometime soon. I was supposed to spin at the 300. But Pete didn't have his mod done yet. He polished up the fuller though. So that's what Pete added. But I brought this one out because I wanted to show you. I knew it was a liner lock. So this one is assisted. So it's not the same. But you can take this bar out of the inside of that TKL and bend it in more, and that'll help the detent ball that's on it engage with the blade more. William? Mitchell, yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Because that's the only way you can close it. And I hope the members are smart enough to know not to put a double edge on it. But there's lots of mods we can do to this thing. I don't care what happens to it. It's a junky knife. I just thought it was cool that we could all pass it around and do something to it. And it's actually got pretty good lockup and better action than you would think. Mr. Ed thinks so too, I believe. Not a terrible knife. He said it wasn't bad, but I like the clip he put on it. Anyway, thought I'd share that. I need to find... So what else y'all want to talk about this morning? Give me some new knives y'all want to look at. While I dig out some bearings here. Trying to find my... There we go. Bag of bearings and washers so I can find one to fit inside this blade so I can get the rest of that red off. Alright. It's got to be one of these. Either that one. It's probably that one. Yeah, it's that one. So I'm just going to waste... I got plenty of these old cheap stamp bearings. So I'm just going to take two of these, or just one of these. I don't need two. Yep. And I'm just going to put that in there and hold it in there while I hold it in there and then bead blast around it. So that'll work. Bead blasting that bearing will ruin it. Bearing will ruin it. But that's alright. I could care less. At least I'll be able to get the rest of that red off. Alright. What else? Let's go back to the interwebs. And let's go check out Kubey Knives, see if they got anything new. They have a couple that I'm really interested in. That's one of them. Looks like a taipan. And the other one that I'm really interested in is this one right here, the Snorri. I really want to check that one out. Prices are kind of crazy on them though. Let's see, does Kubey knife have anything new? New arrivals. Got some fixed blades. Kubey Thorn, Sakari. That Thorn looks like a pretty nice size knife. Oh, morning, drummer. Yeah, that's a cool looking little fixed blade. $90. What else they got? Flash, liner lock. I haven't been to the Kubey. Oh, here's another one. The Yag. That's a different one for sure. Not seen that one. What else they got over here? Microburst fixed blade. That one definitely looks like it's got a big handle. That's a 3-inch blade. That's a 4.5-inch handle. The Bloom or Thorn? I do not. Is it a Kubey? Or is it a KB? Oh, okay. That's the one we just looked at. Duh. Bloom. What is the Bloom? Oh, I like that one too. I just wish these sheaths were set up for scout carry, because that's how I would prefer to carry a 2.6-inch knife. I wish they would set up these for scout carry. The only one I saw that was set up for scout carry was the that bigger one that I just said had a bigger handle. This one right here. So it has a little rotating thing that would allow you to horizontally carry it, but it wouldn't. Those don't work well. The ones that work the best are the little. The best ones I've seen for scout carry are these Vosteeds, because they don't stick out past the sides of little scales, but they're rotatable, and you can tighten them up to get them as tight as you want them. But these are awesome for scout carry. The way they space it away, it keeps it from digging in when you sit down. But these work great. I bought 2 or 3 extra ones of these to put on other knives. But yeah, if you want to add a scout carry clip, unless you get down to a size like this, and then you really can't do anything except a strap for scout carry. The par is a good one though. 10 inches of snow, forget that. No bueno. Lake effect snow, huh? If y'all hadn't smashed that like button, please do so. Help that algorithm out. So it's supposed to be 73 here the next 3 days. It's supposed to be 73 degrees on Christmas. Oh, that's a tenable.
Which skill do you want to enable?
I don't want to enable no skills. This is
Which skill do you want to enable?
Shut up. Yeah, this is a tenable. The PAR, P-A-R-R. All right. What are we going to go browse this morning? This is the par. They're $50. I got a bunch of different ones now. It's Jonathan Styles, by the way. You can even get a piss one. All right, let's go check out some knife swap. Until y'all give me something else to look at. Yeah, there's a Quantum Ursus, the E-Knives, the ones me and Ed have a clone of. Sold on Knife Swap today for $425. The Ursus with Chromax PM. Yeah, it sold for $425 this morning, or it's for sale for $425. So if y'all want a real one of those, there it is. $425 doesn't sound crazy bad. I tried to buy this Malibu, and I was going to tell Nick about it, but I missed it. The guy YOLO'd it, but check out the finish on this Malibu. It's got a way of knife finish, and I almost bought that Malibu. I should have bought both of them for what he was asking, $160 for both of them. And this one has a Lynch clip on it. Malibu does. He wanted $130 for it. I was going to pay him $120, and I missed it. Yeah, we looked at that M390 one, Ed, a few times. Yeah, we looked at that Hytron M390, the Spectron. In fact, that coupon place, my Vipon had a code for it. That's not it. Yeah, my Vipon had a code for that one to get it for $40. Is that the one you're talking about? Or is it a different one from Hytron? I know they've got a few knives. Oh, it might be that one up there that you're talking about. If it looks like a Kershaw. Maybe that's Sharplin. But yeah, you can get this one for $40 with M390 steel. Yeah, knives aren't as crazy expensive as you think when you start getting into Knife Swap. Yeah. I think I bought something else yesterday too, but I can't remember. There's a Strand L. We just talked about that yesterday. That sold for $275. That's a pretty version of it too. The Mini Ventura. Yeah, I think that's the one I pointed at. Oh, no, it's not. Mini Ventura. Mini Ventura. Oh, okay. At least it doesn't have a recurve. It's got a reverse recurve. Yeah, that's a cool looking knife. Looks comfortable. That forward choil looks really comfortable. No thumb studs. Flipper tab only. I've been the Roxy 4 has been on my list forever, Nick. I would like it way better than the Roxy 3, and I've not carried the Roxy 3 once. It went straight in the case, Nick. Yeah, it's not getting carried probably for a while. I've got to get some knives back in my nice knife case and pull some others out that don't belong. So what knives don't belong in here? I need to check that. I was trying to get this. Let me close up this case. I'll go show the pictures here in just a second, Ed. I'm moving cases around over here. Hold on. I was gonna bust out the Quantum. Yeah, here it is. So here's that exact same knife. The clone of it. It even has the Chromax PM. Same blade steel as that one. Yeah, this is the E-Knives version. That's their logo. And this one has pretty good action. Not the best, but I've not used it or tuned it either. But yeah, that's that exact same knife. Pretty crazy. Not a bad knife. Good representation of a Shiro. It lets you know the size. They're big knives. I think I've got a few of those cheaper ones. The cheaper Shiros. That one and this one. So this is another one. This one's actually better, in my opinion. But it's a cheap one too. It's got better action too. It drops shut. It's very smooth. And then the third one I got, it's one of those cheaper ones, is the FDX or CDX. Yeah, the CDX. That one has some nice milling, and this is another cheaper one also. It's got great action too. But anyway, let me go look at those pictures Ed posted. Oh yeah, TC got that little spin, snap, spin, and there's the Elementum that I'm building. Me and TC seem to have the same idea on a bunch of that stuff. Yeah, there's the channel knife. And there's that Hytron. And there's the Shiro with the Chromax PM. So if we go back to the Reddit, you can see that this one right here, it even has the Chromax PM. Let's see if the placement of that is close to the same place. It's right up by the plunge line and the top of the blade grind. And on that one, it's by the plunge line, top of the blade line. Yeah, it's pretty close. There's that one. There's that one. Ed's pictures look good, that's for sure. It's funny, Ed didn't know that was the E-Knives logo for the longest time when he owned it. And I mentioned it on stream one day, and he was like, well, I'll be there. Dang. It really is. That's always fun when you've had a knife for a while and you learn something new about it. What pins are we looking at? Techliner Arrow. And the grid pin. I have not seen these. Pretty cool patterns. Oh, something else I thought about on the way home. You want the Galaga? Sorry, Robin, I was about to get sidetracked. Let me keep looking at these pins. The Galaga LE. Oh, that is a cool. Got the Galaga. Yeah, that one's super cool. Wow. That's neat. But no, what I was going to say is, you remember how I was talking about yesterday about all these knives that are M390 that need to have it on it somewhere? Well, silly me, I've got a laser. I can just laser M390 wherever I want on the blade. So we're going to do that soon. We're going to pop one of these blades out that's M390, and we're going to put M390 on it somewhere, whether it's on the back of the flipper tab or somewhere. But I should be able to put whatever I want on whatever knife. Shouldn't be that hard. I forget the tools I have at my disposal. Some of them already have it, like that one, but a lot of them don't. And something else the only thing I don't like about this Warney baby banner is the way that they made the blade edge tilt up. I want it to be straight like that. But what they did do is they made it kind of like that Overland, to where when you do get the blade straight, you've got room for your hand to cut straight. But I wish it didn't tilt up like that. I wish it went straight out and then it curved down more. This thing ought to be a super nice little knife. It's super comfortable, and I can get all 4 fingers on it, which is pretty wild considering how small it is. 3.5 at least. I accidentally, once I bead blasted this blade, I had to sharpen it. So I did come home this morning and throw an edge on it. And last night when I had this one with me, this was the brand new one I bought. And I accidentally forgot that this was the brand new one, so I had to put an edge on it again this morning too. And I put an edge on this one. All right, enough of that. But a milled clip for what, Robin? What do I need a milled clip for? This one? Yeah, those pins are super tight. I want to look at some more now. that Galaga was the best one so far. Vader TRD. Do they have a, who makes a milled clip for it? Titanium pocket clip. That's not milled. Lynch. Does Lynch make one? Oh, Savivi makes one? When you say milled, are you really just meaning titanium? Or do they have one with some kind of pattern? I actually like the one that's on it. I believe this one came off the Warney one. And I kind of like the fact that it says Banner on it. I don't mind this clip at all, actually. I think it goes good with I mean, I'm sure just about everything is milled, isn't it? When I think of milled, I think of decorative. But that's just my opinion. But yes. What if it's made out of one piece, then it's milled. Even if it's made out of two, it can be milled, I guess. But yeah, I like those. I don't know that I like them any better than the one that's on it, though. Yeah, milled me. Yeah, it is milled. Everything's milled, just about. But here's what I was talking about. That I wish the edge. I wish it was more like the new Asher. So the lines on it are kind of straight. Like this one even goes down. Where this one, if you get the handle straight, the tip of the blade goes up. So yeah, I like it, but I wish it tilted. I don't know. You want to get into the material. Instead of away from it, and this tilts you away from it. Like, I wish it tilted down like this one instead of the way it does. It is what it is. I've got $30 plus like 17. I got $47 into this knife. So it's well worth $47 titanium. But yeah, a titanium clip, and I'm guessing this one is not titanium, but it looks titanium. It's not though. It's steel. So yeah, a titanium clip would be better. All right. What now? We looked at some pins. Which one of these fits? I don't know. My Wee Banter and my Elementum are supposed to be delivered today. So I'll get to finish building those. Okay, there's the one for the baby banner. So it's the T003 clip. T003 clip. Yep, looks like this one. Do they have it in? I could bead blast it too. Adventure carry. Yes, okay. So that is the T003C. That's the one I need. Civivi. Whoops. T003C. There we go. That's the one right there. I'll tell you what, Kaiser, whenever you order, so the same clips, that's what I need to do. I bet, so Kaiser clips will fit on a bunch of knives too. And when you get points from Kaiser, you can get free clips from them. You can get free titanium clips. And you just pay $5 for shipping. But I've got quite a few of the free ones from them. Yeah, here they are. But I bet one of these would fit. They're the same hole pattern. And these Kaiser titanium clips are pretty nice. I made a green one. But these are all titanium from Kaiser. And I think they might have the same hole pattern. Man, it looks like it. That one looks way better, and that one's titanium. Let's see if it fits. I forgot about the Kaiser ones. But yeah, those Civivi ones do fit a bunch of knives too, like Ed said. But so do these Kaisers. Come on, screw. Let's see if this Kaiser clip fits. Man, the milling is just a little off. The hole pattern is the same. You can maybe, no, it's a little off. Okay. See you later, Ed. Yep, the hole pattern was a little bit off. Well, now you know. And knowing is half the battle, right? Yep, I'll find one. See you later, Ed. Have a good day, sir. Hope you get some good rest today. I don't mind this clip as far as the style. I wish it was titanium to kind of match the rest of the knife, but it is what it is. Snowboarding sounds fun. But yeah, check out these free Kaiser clips. They come with screws, a bunch of extra screws, and these screws will work on a lot of knives too. So, like I said, you can get them for free. $5 shipping. If you ever buy anything from the Kaiser website. I've still got a bunch of points. Morning, Cliff. Hope you're doing well up there in Alaska, sir. Let's see what's Osborne's Edgerati. What did this Edgerati sell for? Asking $247. $247. I guess they're finally out. That's cool. I don't want to look at Knife Swap. I see it pop up all night long. Let's run over and see if there's any new folders that we hadn't seen. That Partake is pretty cool. Speaking of Civivi, yeah, that $247 is full retail. That thing's pretty cool though. Kind of funny that we've been talking Civivi and they pop right up. Slippy Cindy. Tarask. Parfion Select. Some new artist Open L's. That's pretty cool. I hadn't seen those. Oh, I ordered. I kind of went overboard yesterday. With ordering new mats for my background. I ordered 8 yesterday. That's kind of silly, huh? But I got some super cool ones, man. Check out these mats that I got yesterday. Here's one of them. I got this one, which is a new Japanese scene with the water. So that'll make a cool background. I got this one. Which is another super cool one with the Japanese scenery and flowers and a bridge and water and tree. So that one will make a cool background. I got this one, which is another dragon one that'll look cool on stream. Yeah, I got 8 new ones yesterday because I was bored with the ones I got, and I've put holes in them. The 4th one I got is this one for a little change of color. Then I got, whoops, this one's super cool too. It kind of goes with that same little pattern there. I got this one, which has another Japanese temple and trees and stuff. And then let's see, what else did I get? I got this one, which is a cool, like, abstract one with bright colors that'll look super cool. And these are all giant ones. They're 31 and a half by 12 inches, basically. So they're a foot by, like, almost 3 feet. And then the last one I got, it's probably one of the coolest, only because it's knife related. It's got a katana with red, so that'll make a cool background. And then one more I grabbed just because it's going to arrive later. The rest of these will be here Sunday, but this last one will be like in January sometime, coming from China. But it was just a bright one with a bunch of skulls that I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, I grabbed those yesterday for the stream. And I'm really zoomed in this morning because I've got a mess on the table, but if I zoom out here, you'll see I got a bunch of stuff on the table that y'all can't see. I've actually got more than that. There's my feet, my socks. But yeah, so I can use these mats to zoom in and keep the clutter. Mitchell, it's all right if you got the ones that I got. The ones that I got had a bunch of different ones too. So like, some of them had like 8 or 9. Like this one, for instance. The one, well, hold on. I think I might have gotten a few from this one. So this one right here. Dang it. Work. So see, there's all kinds of ones. They even have Sagaiha. They have a giant Sagaiha. They have the Susan G. Komen. They have cat ones. More flowers. More cat ones. Topo. There's that dragon one. That dragon one's going to look cool. Oh, y'all can't even see him. My God. Yeah, anyway, that one that I showed, this one, there's other ones that they have too. Flowers, cats. Here's the big pattern. Topos. Cats. $3.99 for that one. Pretty crazy. So yeah, $4 with shipping to your house. Pretty crazy. Anyway, I'm going to start winding this one down. I'm going to go out here and bead blast the rest of the red off of this. I've got some knives to carry today. This one's going in my back pocket now that I got it sharpened again. And one of these two is probably going in my front pocket. Probably the one I had in my back pocket last night, because this is such a nice knife. Yeah, that's going back in my front pocket. This is probably going in my back pocket. Although this cedar that's hiding out of the way over here, looking pretty nice too. Anyway, guys, it is getting really close to Christmas. I hope all of you have finished all your shopping. The traffic around here is pretty crazy at the moment. What a beautiful milling job. You have to change out your media every so often, Nick. Especially the cheap glass beads that we get, they break up and they turn into little shards and they'll stop working. So you do have to replace it depending on how much you use. But yes, there are little paint chips in there right now. But I haven't noticed them doing any kind of weird pattern. That's just oil. When you bead blast a blade, it wants to show all the oil on it, but you do have to swap it up. But it'll last quite a long time without having to swap it. That's what she said. See, like this one is M390, so I'm gonna laser M390 on the bottom right there. I could do that right now. Be super easy. I got to figure out what font I want to use for the M390 though. I wonder if there's a standard like bowler font. Yeah, it does look way better than red. I mean, that's a pretty drastic change from the top to the bottom. I'm gonna I paid $30 for the knife, so if I can resell this one for $30, I'll have basically got the loaner knife, the Warney blade for my titanium scales for free, and then I'll only have $17 in this knife. So yeah, if I can sell this one for the $30 I paid for the Warney blade, then I'll basically just have $17 in this knife. So that'll be cool. Anyway, guys, my voice is getting a little shot now. I, of course, appreciate y'all joining me as always. Thank you for talking knives with me this morning. If you haven't gone and seen the Asher unboxing, I invite you to go do that. I did post that last night. I compare it with a bunch of other Ashers, and it is right here. Dirty environment. So go check that out, or at least go throw a comment on it or something and help the algorithm. But anyway, guys, Mr. Whalen, thank you, sir. Y'all have a great Tuesday before Christmas. Y'all need me, hit me up. And I guess that's about it. I was reading the comments and scrolling. Mr. Cliff, stay warm up there, sir. Drummer, thanks for hopping in this morning. Mitchell, Nick. Thank you guys for hanging out with me.